Is Nickelodeon Universe at the Mall of America worth visiting? That's the question we'll be answering in today's video, and I will be going over my experience with the park, everything you need to know about the rides, ticketing options, and much more, so you will fully know whether Nickelodeon Universe at the Mall of America is worth visiting to you. Let's go. My story when visiting the Mall of America and Nickelodeon Universe. Now, I visited the park roughly 3 years ago when this video is being recorded, which means about March of 2020. And we all know what was happening in March of 2020. So this little known virus started to appear in China, and everybody started freaking out because it started spreading all over the place. I don't know if you've heard of it because it wasn't too big. It didn't really affect people that bad. It was called COVID-19. You might have not even heard of it. I don't know. But I visited the park literally the day before it closed due to COVID. At least from my experience, the park was mostly dead. So I don't know if that's like normal. It's probably this park, I would guess, probably gets a decent crowd because the Mall of America is pretty darn popular. But just be aware, from my experience, the park was mostly dead. So I didn't have to experience much wait times. So that might impact what I'm about to say later in the video, so stay tuned. As for the main reason most people visit any amusement park, that being the coasters. So let's start with that. Mall of America's biggest attraction is called SpongeBob SquarePants Rock Bottom Plunge, which is a Gerstlauer Eurofighter with a beyond vertical drop, some fun inversions, some surprising airtime at times, and this one of those rides, it's decently old, like it opened in I believe 2008, so it's not the smoothest thing, but if you want a smoother ride on it, just keep your head forward and you will be fine. The park also has a spinning coaster known as the Fairly Odd Coaster. I experienced this ride with an off-balance car, meaning most of the weight was on one side, and if you know most spinning coasters, they spin much faster with an off-balance car. So this spinning coaster was actually pretty crazy for me. If you're unfamiliar with with the Fairly Odd Coaster though, it's basically an exact clone of the Pandemonium coasters at various Six Flags parks. And you also have another spinning attraction known as Avatar Airbender, which this is an Intamin launch half-pipe coaster, which basically means you're launched up a half-pipe while the cars are spinning. And just be aware, this can get you fairly dizzy. It didn't get me dizzy, but I did have a family member who got off of this ride fairly dizzy. So just be aware of that. Then you also have the park's family coaster, Pepsi Orange Streak, that just goes across the whole park and isn't super forceful, but it gives you an amazing view of just the whole park and everything. So in my opinion, the Mall of America and Nickelodeon Universe do have a pretty solid coaster lineup, especially for an indoor park. So in my opinion, the Mall of America is worth visiting when it comes to the coasters. Now, as for Nickelodeon Universe's flat rides, this park basically has all the flat rides you could want. You have plenty of flipping rides and spinning rides and basically pretty much everything. You have a small drop tower, you have frisbee ride, you have this attraction known as a Chance Unicoaster, which is called Brain Surge, which basically you control your own flipping, and then you also have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shell Shock, which you also control your flipping. Now, this is much different than Brain Surge and much harder to master, as you have to move both wings basically in opposite directions to try to get and move your weight around to like flip. Now, yeah, I wasn't able to flip when I rode it, but with some practice, it's definitely doable. Now, you have plenty of other flat rides, and you even have one of the world's best log flumes, surprisingly, in a freaking mall, known as Log Chute. This thing is themed to Paul Bunyan. There's actually a surprising amount of animatronics considering this is an amusement park and not a theme park, and it will also get you pretty darn wet too. And as for me, when I experienced that, it was like 20 degrees outside, so you can probably call me a little crazy for experiencing a log flume when outside it was like stupid cold. And even though the park is indoors, the water on Log Chute was still pretty cold, so yeah, you can call me stupid for doing that. I have no regrets. That ride is amazing. And then you also have a dark ride. The dark ride they have is called Ghost Blaster. And it's a fairly cheap dark ride, but it's still fun and all the targets and everything work. So it's a fun time. It will definitely get your competitiveness going if you're visiting the park with like some friends and family. Then you also have some upcharge attractions such as mini golf and a ropes course. So in general, I feel like the Mall of America has a ton of flat rides to suit basically everybody's needs, and is definitely worth visiting in terms of the flat ride department. Let's move on to tickets. Now, the price of a one-day wristband has gone up about $10 since I last visited the park 3 years ago. Due to inflation, it's now $45 instead of what I remember paying for it, which was like $35 back in March of 2020. But the good news is with the Mall of America and Nickelodeon Universe is you have free entry into the park and you're also given the option to pay per ride. Now, I'm not sure of the individual ticket prices for each ride, but I can definitely say this. If you want to do everything like I did, you're definitely way better off buying the all-day wristband. Now, I would recommend the pay-per-ride system if you're only interested in, let's just say, the roller coasters. You can knock those out for a pretty affordable price. But honestly, at that point, you'd still probably be better off getting the all-day wristband. So personally, if you plan on visiting the Mall of America, I would personally get the all-day wristband, but your needs may vary. Made it this far in the video, I just want to thank you for watching the video. And also, the Mall of America has a ton of other attractions to do. So if you would like me to make another video not talking about Nickelodeon Universe, but all the other attractions that the Mall of America has to offer, like and comment on this video. And also, if you're new to Southeastern Thrills, I recommend that you subscribe. And also, peace.